Good morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And today I am going to be showing you a way to make a quick and easy set of cards, 4 cards. And this is a technique, kind of like a one-sheet wonder technique from Debbie Henderson, a demonstrator in the US, and I watched her video. I will put a link to everything in the descriptive info on this video, or in my blog post that is linked on this video. But she did hers, sorry, I'm going to backtrack here for a minute. She did hers with this Abstract Beauty Designer Series paper, which I hadn't quite realized because I hadn't focused in on purchasing this suite yet. But they're listing it as a new size, but in fact we have had this 4x6 Designer Series paper size before, but it's been many years. But so it's a technique that makes use of the 4x6 size. And Debbie being in the US, she did her template in imperial measurements, and I have revised it to use with centimeters, metric, and it works quite well with both. So I will show you the template in just a minute, but I'm going to show you the first set of cards I made. And when I try out new things like this, I start with a piece of used printer paper, you know, that's just scrap. And I start with my template. I make my template from that first, and then I go to retired Designer Series paper. And from there, I go to current product. So today I'm going to do it with current product, but here's the basic idea, and she calls it Stack and Shuffle, and I will show you why when we get to that point. Hello Gladys, thank you for joining me today. When you come on here, please give me a quick shout in the comments so I know you're here. Yeah, so we're going to make a set of these. They are, once you know what you're doing, they are super quick and easy. They are great to just have in your stash to pull out, or it's fun to give them as a set to somebody. So let me bring in this template. So the idea is you have your 4x6 piece of Designer Series paper. In centimeters, that would be 15.2 by 15.2 by 10.2. Because I don't actually have the 6x4 Designer Series paper, and I'm working in metric, and I'm cutting it myself anyway, I will show you. I chose to use the, what is it called? Artistically, sorry. Somehow these names are not sticking in my head, and I just had Abstract Beauty, Artfully Composed Designer Series paper. That's the tropical themed one in the mini catalog. So what I did is, since I was cutting down my pieces anyway, I did, well, it looks pretty close, but this is, instead of 15.2, it's actually, sorry, instead of 10.2, it's actually just 10, because that's the size that I actually want for my card front. So it's 10 by 15.2, and I'm going to show you what happens here. So let's get to cutting and less talking, and you'll be able to better understand what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I'm bringing in my cutter, and the first thing you do, I'll show you the patterns I picked. So these are the reverse side. There's lots of all of that. So that's the reverse side, and I did one in the quote unquote the A side. These are the B side, this is the A side, just because I didn't want too many wild patterns in there. So I've already done the first cut on one of these. We're going to get this to, the first cut you do is across the bottom. So you get it to be either 14.4 or 5 1/4 from the 6. So the proportions are a little bit different, remember, when you're working in metric versus imperial. So this offcut here at the bottom is going to be different depending on which cutting measurements you're using. It's going to be 3/4 of an inch if you're using imperial. So it's going to be wider, but it's still going to be good. We're going to use all of these on the inside of the card. Now these are all the same. They should all be 14.4. And you need to figure out with your cutter how many sheets you can cut neatly. I think I'm fine with all 4, but we'll see here. So then the first, that was your first cut. Your second cut is going to be the lengthwise one, because you do the ones with the longest runs first. So in metric, it means you put this at 7. And this should be at 3. Yep. And then 6.4 or 2 1/4. Let's see both of those. And this one is at 8.4 or 3 1/4. And that is the cutting. So now we're going to make our stacks. 2, 3, 4. That out of the way. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here's the shuffle part. On the first stack, you're going to put it all the way at the back. On the second stack, you're going to put it one back. This one, 1, 2, 3, and this one we leave it all in the same place. Okay, so this should, you'll see here, this should get us now one of each size for each bit. Oh, nope, those are for the inside. Put those aside for a minute. And I chose Old Olive, pulling out of this, because I thought it went fine with all of these. So let's see how we go here. I thought it was doing so well getting everything prepped to the point I did last night. So did I move this one? Oh my goodness. We'll figure it out here. That one goes there. There. I've lost the plot here. We'll get it right. not. That's wrong. What have I done? Oh my goodness, let's start this again, because clearly I have something wrong in my head. Something flipped. I think that's probably it. It was really a simple concept. Can I blame it on the coffee knot? Kicking in. Anyway, she shuffles it somehow, and I really need to get back there and figure it out. But I didn't. So 2, 3, 4. 1. No, Nancy, think about it. You're shuffling. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so now it's a matter of gluing. Okay, are you all laughing at me? Hi, Renata. So these are just going to have a really thin border around each strip. You can use whatever adhesive you like. I find with the glue, I can reposition if I need to, nudge it into place. And with other adhesives, I can't. So I tend to stick with my liquid glue. This kind of reminds me of when I was quilting. Mixing patterns and colors. Goodness, that one's not straight. Good morning, Annette. Thanks for joining me. There's 2. this side this time. You can mix and match your designer series paper however you want. But if you have too many really loud patterns, I think it gets kind of crazy. So I'll show you here real fast. If I were to do it all in the, this one's going to be the same, but you could see it would just be really, really crazy if we did it all in the, oh, which one was it supposed to be? That one. In the really wild tropical one. So that's why having the B side is really nice. Okay, so there are the 4 card fronts. Now we're going to do, so these little strips that we cut off from the initial piece of paper, those I'm going to put on just right here at the bottom of the inserts. And I could do the wild side, but I think I'm only going to do that on one of them. What I kind of chose to do was, you know, had to decide somehow how to put them. So whichever one's got the largest block is the one I'm putting it with. That's kind of arbitrary. And then this one we will do on the wild side. Oh, Annette, I'm glad to see that. That's the whole point, is to give you a some usable layouts that you spark your imagination and you decide to go and play with some more. Because I want people using their stash. It does you no good to accumulate it and not do anything with it. Just makes you feel guilty, I think. So, there we go. And then you can put any sentiment you want on these. You can even change them up, which maybe if you're doing a gift set could be a good thing. go. And now for the little bit of stamping we're going to do here today. I've brought in this sentiment. It says, just a card to say you're amazing, because that I figure can be used for many situations. And I went ahead and I pre-cut these tags. I got one extra there in case I mess up. And it is a photopolymer set. It's got a pretty bold font there, so I did bring in my mat. To get a good impression, I'm letting that ink soak in there. There we go. Love being able to see right through. Used to be we had to stamp first and then cut because we couldn't see to position stuff so accurately, especially on such a small tag. And I'm not going to need that extra one, of course. Maybe I jinxed myself. There we go. And then I went ahead and cut some black baker's twine. Normally I would have these tied in advance. I thought about tying them in advance, but I wanted them to go through the hole. I didn't want to just stick them on with a glue dot, so I didn't. We'll see how this works. I think they're going to work just fine. If you are bow challenged, I'm going to tell you what I tell all of my customers who say, oh, I can't tie bows. Get a scrap piece of ribbon, baker's twine, or one of each. And while you're watching your favorite TV show, tie bows and untie them and tie them and fiddle with them till they look the way you want them to. And then try tying them. If you usually go around your string this way, try going around this way and see how that changes how your bow sits. But just tie, tie, tie. And soon you'll be able to tie bows the way you like them. Because it really is a lot of muscle memory and practice. And if you do the two little bunny ears that chase each other and go down the hole, you can do that too with this. Apparently I can't today, but one can. Okay, so I will focus with those more once they're actually on. So now I'm going to put some dimensionals on. Okay. If you're watching here in Australia, I want to remind you that Celebration has been extended until the 16th of March. Okay, so I will come back and kind of neaten up those bows and their tails and all of that. Oh my goodness, dimensional backing won't come off. So that just kind of finishes them off. Not kind of, it does finish them off. So that's less than 30 minutes with you guys, and I have 4 cards done. And I started with the 4x6 Designer Series paper. I did start with these pre-cut, and I did start with my card bases and inserts pre-cut. But, you know, really, that's certainly, I'd say maybe 45 minutes if you're starting absolutely from scratch. Let me pull in the other set that I've done. These have more vivid patterns, busier patterns, but I think they still work okay. And like I said, I was using up some retired stuff as a trial. This will be on the blog post if you want to get it. It does have both inches and centimeters on it. I will also link to Debbie's blog post that has her video embedded, and you'll be able to figure out what she was doing with the shuffle stuff that I totally forgot. But you saw, I worked it out. You just want one of each pattern onto each of the cards. You're just not duplicating anything. And yeah, that is it. I thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions or you want to order products here in Australia. Okay, so I actually finally have something written up to be able to show you at the end here. You can go to my website, or you can email me, nancysniftynotes.com or nancy@nancysniftynotes.com. Yay, finally. It's only taken, what, 2 or 3 years of doing these? And I will be back the same time, same place next week with another project. If you have any requests, if you have a technique you want me to show you, or a paper or stamp set you want me to demonstrate, if I've got it, I'm happy to do that. Just drop me a note and I will try to oblige. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.